This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Applied Botanics, premium, consistent, and affordable wellness for all. Each of their products features a specialized formula with targeted terpenes to give you a CBD experience that helps you sleep better, take the edge off, and relieve your aches and pains to help you live healthy and happy. Newly added to their CBD lines, in addition to their drops, are new topicals that you can roll on and high-dose CBD edibles to help you find your balance. Visit appliedbotanics.com today and use code word Popko Project at checkout to receive 30% off your first order. Applied Botanics. Live healthy and happy. This episode of the podcast is also brought to you by Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services. Whether you need plants, trees, sod, mulch, rock, flowers, topsoil, grass seed, straw bales, or anything to help your lawn look its best, Keller's has you covered. Located in Exeter, Pennsylvania, near Blue Ribbon Dairy on Kern Street, mums and fall items are now available, and look for fall festival weekends at Keller's Garden Center starting September 25th and running through October 31st. Paint your own pumpkins, scavenger hunts, hay maze, face painting, and more. Check out Keller's Garden Center on social media for more information. My guest today is Aaron Bruch, bass player and backing vocalist for the rock band Breaking Benjamin. I have had the pleasure of knowing Aaron and calling him a friend of mine for over 15 years. I've seen him perform solo gigs throughout Northeastern Pennsylvania and in bands like Panacea and Hour After before getting his big break in Breaking Benjamin. We talk about what it was like going back out on tour after 500 plus days of no shows, what Northeastern Pennsylvania means to him and the band, their homecoming show at Montage Mountain last month, his new business venture with Parlor Beverages, Joe Rogan, the amazing Red Sox, and so much more. Welcome to the show, my dear friend Aaron Bruch of Breaking Benjamin. And we are live with Aaron Bruch. Buddy,
it's me.
What's up?
You know, I mean, everything and nothing, right?
What a difference a year makes.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah, for sure. We're coming through. Like the last time we were talking, life was pretty crazy. There was a lot of uncertainty.
I went back and looked. It was June 5th. At least it was June 5th when I put it out last year.
Yeah.
So a lot is different. I think there's some of the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, one question I have for you though. I mean, you've been playing music for a long time. You've been lugging equipment. When are you going to finally get your big break?
I know. I'm going to just keep trucking along and hope that one day, by the good graces, it's going to happen for me.
I've been really pushing for you, man. There's no one more deserving in Northeastern Pennsylvania to like make it big, to be like in a big rock band, like one of the most popular bands in the world. If anybody should do it, it should be you.
I'm going to try. I'm going to take the Hulk Hogan strategy. I'm going to take my vitamins. I'm going to say my prayers.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
And the Hulkster is going to carry us to victory.
Well, anyone watching and listening, obviously I'm joking. Aaron is the bass player and vocalist, backup vocals for a little band called Breaking Benjamin. And I can't thank you enough for joining me tonight for my little place in the world that I call the Popko Project podcast.
I'm more than happy to do it. And most importantly, you left out longtime friend, because we've been friends since way before any of that was a thing.
Yeah. I'd hate to repeat the story because obviously we know the story, and but maybe my listeners don't. I mean, we go way back.
You guys can go back and watch the last one. It was good. It was really entertaining. It was one of the better Popko projects of all time. You should go back and revisit that. Put some likes on it.
No, don't. I don't want that to happen, because that was on. That was for the Alt Natives After Hours podcast.
That's right. Okay, never mind.
And that RIP Alt Natives. so that's why I started this. I started the same platform, different channel, I have to say. It's same format, same kind of thing, talking to my friends and guys and girls in bands and people doing cool things for our area.
This one has your name on it. That's cool.
This one has my name on it. I think you were one of the people. It was either you or Josh Balls, who I just spoke to 2 days ago. He's like, you have to have your name in it, because I didn't want that to be a thing. I didn't want my name to be like the title of the show, because I thought that was pretentious. But people were like, but people know who you are. It only makes sense.
It's like how long have you listened to Joe Rogan for? Do you think he's pretentious for calling it the Joe Rogan Experience?
Well, I mean, that's 2 different levels, buddy. 2 different levels.
They might be 2 different levels, but it's at the same time.
I mean, when he started that, he had Fear Factor fame, and he had Hardball, and he was a host of The Man Show, and what else was he doing?
Stand-up comedian, all that too.
Stand-up comedian, UFC commentator, and he had a lot going for him. I mean, all I've got going for me is my beautiful wife and awesome kid. That's what I have going for me. I think
that sounds like a lot, though.
I mean, there's worse things.
Like a lot.
I mean, I'm very blessed. I'm in a good place, but yeah. But yeah, man, a lot has changed. A lot is the same. A year and 4 months, 3 months later.
Yeah.
And I mean, your life is probably far different now than it was a year ago. I mean, Breaking Ben just got back from a little tour.
Yeah. A year ago, it was just shortly after. It was shortly after I had been given the news that our summer tour would not be happening and that everything was going to be like shut down. And we were in it was a place of limbo where it was like, who knows how long this is going to last, but we're going to do what we got to do to get through it. So,
here we are a year later, still trying to get through it.
Still trying to get through it. Still trying to figure out, there's still like a large population that just wants life to go back to normal. And it's like, at some point, people are going to have to figure out that normal isn't normal anymore. And we have to figure out what the new normal is.
Yeah.
And go from there.
It's nuts. I did go back and listen to our last episode, though, just so I didn't repeat myself for anything. But we talked about how your shows were canceled. You had a scheduled show with Panacea. For those of you who don't know, Aaron was in a band, a very popular band. I thought it was a band that was going to be the next big thing out of Northeastern Pennsylvania, Panacea.
We should have been, yeah.
Yeah, but that was...
Long story short, we should have been.
But things worked out for you.
Yeah.
You did all right.
Yeah.
But at the time, that had gotten canceled because of COVID. And either we knew about the show, kind of like a rescheduled event, and we didn't talk about it, or it kind of just popped up. But you guys you kind of did the reunion, and you did it at a drive-in show at Mohegan Sun Arena in Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah. The drive-in parking lot concert. I think so. Yeah, that sounds right.
July, one of the two. I don't know. I forget. But
that one was a situation where, Paulie had told me that the show was going to happen. I saw that the show was going to happen, and then I saw that they had. It was announced that Panacea had canceled and dropped off the show.
Yeah.
So I was talking to my wife about it and what a bummer that was, and she was like, "So just text Paulie and tell him you'll sing." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I could do that. I could do that." So I text Paulie and I was like, "Kara told me to text you and let you know that I'll sing." So yeah, the fact that all came together is 100% credit to my wife. It was her idea, and me and Paulie are big dummies who didn't even dawn on us for a second. But we got together, rehearsed a couple times, and went out there, and it felt great to play those songs, and to sing those songs. It was an awkward kind of situation for me, because like it was all like house gear. So there was like the mic stand that I was using was like really, really small. I don't typically play with like perform without an instrument. it's a different world. It's a whole different thing.
Where are your hands
Nothing but respect to people who front bands for a living. Nothing but respect for that. Cause it's difficult. So, I went out there and they gave me this mic stand, and I'm a taller guy. So the mic stand wasn't like high enough. And like, it was kind of like the little thing in the middle that you screw to like hold it up all the way. That was kind of broken. So the mic stand kept like sliding down lower. Eventually I was like, I just got rid of the mic stand. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. We're just going to walk around, whatever. So, but that was, that was a lot of fun. There were a lot of fans from back in the day when we were playing, the local scene with Panacea that were there, and they were super grateful to hear those songs again and relive some memories. And I got to talk to some of them afterwards, and it was, it takes you back to like Club Excess and Outsiders and all that stuff. And it was just a really cool thing to get to do.
Yeah. And what was that like too? Because, at the time your shows were canceled, and then you got this opportunity to do a show with your old band, outside drive-in show. People are in cars, people are honking horns instead of, putting the lighter in the air. Like that had to be an interesting kind of entrance back into live music after, being out for 3 or 4 months and not knowing what the hell's going on.
Yeah. And it was a really cool show too, because there were, there were a bunch of huge local bands that were on there, and then like Lifer was on there. So, getting to see those guys and catch up with them. And then, and we actually shared bass players with Lifer for that show.
Yep.
And then, cause Mike was the bass player in Panacea before me. He left Panacea to join Lifer at the time, I think, right? Or was it the Drama Club? I think it was the Drama Club at the time. Yeah. Whichever project Nick was in, they've all been way better than they have any business being. He has an incredible track record for putting out stuff that's just of super high quality. And then Sean, our drummer, had his band come in from Ohio and play that show too. So I got to see Sean that day and kind of pick on him and stuff. And it was cool to play a show where, we were kind of doing different things. Yeah. And that was awesome. But yeah, the change of going up and just being a singer was definitely the most difficult part. And I felt like it was at a time, I shouldn't say the really cool thing, because there was so much cool, positive stuff that happened from like where the proceeds went to what they did with the merch and everything. It was super cool. It was all a great thing, but it was at a time where people had been, we were coming out of one of the lockdown modes there, and it was, people needed to get out and have something in their life where they could, whether you could go out and interact with those people or not, you could at least see other people. Yeah. So it was something that was kind of familiar that could help people mentally get through what we were all dealing with. Yeah.
And you mentioned a lot of like a great lineup of local talent. I mean, what are your thoughts on some of the local bands, and doing what they're doing? There's the return of Lifer. University Drive is on tour. I think they played that show too, but they're also on tour. They were on tour, and they're playing a couple dates now with the band Cold. For those of you who don't know, or you need a little memory jogger, is Stupid Girl, big song, huge song in 2003. And Nick Coyle is in Cold now.
Yeah, well, our last big single from Aurora, Far Away, Scooter was the other voice on that song.
Yeah, so talk about that. I mean, like, there's so many like interconnections.
There's always been an incredible amount of talent that's been coming out of this area for the longest time. Even going back to like the cover scene, some of the cover bands that were in this area were just so good, like all musically gifted people who were doing like full-time jobs and then going out and playing 5 times a week. And then a lot of them were able to transition it into where playing cover music was their job, because they were at such a high level that they were able to support themselves or their families or whatever they needed to do solely through playing music. And that's kind of an underappreciated part of our area's musical history. I think, people look back at the Dakotas and the Badleys and the Breaking Benjamins and stuff, and, see the successes. And it's like, there's so much more than that. There's so many layers to our area's musical history. And it's just, you could spend all day talking about it. It's nuts.
I'm glad you said that
for such a small area to have that amount of like talent.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been to a lot of different cities to see their scene, so to speak. But I'm still confident that I would put our area up against anybody else. I mean, I had the honor to be able to play in a lot of songs on the radio for these local bands when I had a show on the radio a year ago. But yeah, I mean, I just remember when I started that show in 2017, I thought I had my finger on the pulse of this area and the local music and the talent this area had. And when I started it and started getting submissions from these bands, I was like, okay, I never heard of this before, but this is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this before. Who is this? Where did they come from? Why? How have I not heard it sooner?
Yeah. Why don't people know who these people are? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nuts. It's nuts. The level of, and I guess I could so Josh, I'm sure you talked to Josh about the Space Zebra show.
Yeah. Yep.
And, I've been on the Space Zebra show a few times and heard a bunch of the bands that are on there. And those bands are from all across the country. And I would absolutely put the bands from this area up against anything that has been on that show.
That's cool. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
A National Act talking very highly of this area, which, I mean, you were part of it. You still are part of it.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing to hear you say, but I 100% agree. But,
yeah, keep working, kids. I know that there's not a lot of places to play right now. I know that there's not a lot of outlets right now, but use this digital medium. Use it.
Yeah.
And push.
How long did it take you? I mean, you were hustling for a long time.
Long time. I mean, I was one of those people who was fortunate enough to be a professional musician for a long time before the Breaking Benjamin thing, took off. But I was like 35 when we finally released Dark Before Dawn.
Wow. Damn. I don't know if I thought you were older or younger than that.
Was I 36 or was I 36? Maybe 30. No. Hold on. Wait.
How old are we now?
Let me do math. So in 2010, I did the acoustic shows with Ben. I was 34. I was 35 when Little A was born. So I guess I was older than that, huh? It's probably like 38.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry to age you 3 years.
Nuts.
But it's a better story. I mean, because you were
it is a better story. I mean, well, it's
for a long time.
Yeah.
So, like you said, keep at it. What are your thoughts on, like, I mean, you said keep hustling, use this platform, use, digital, use the internet. I feel like, I mean, every idiot has a podcast. You're looking at one right now. Bands can upload their music to, the platform, Spotify, all that kind of stuff. Do you think it's oversaturated to an extent?
I think so. The problem is definitely discoverability. And it's like they've put the way these digital mediums are now is early on for the first few waves of people who took off on YouTube and stuff like that. You posted your video. As it got more views, it got pushed to more people. Now there's like an algorithm that decides what you get to see and what you don't get to see. It does the same thing with like Instagram and stuff. So like once you post a bunch of stuff, there's an algorithm that determines even the people who follow you, who want to see your content, it picks and chooses which ones of those people in an effort to get you to pay them to push your stuff to all of your followers. So everything is like that. And, so it's been, with YouTube and stuff, it's still possible. It is very oversaturated for sure. But the real problem is just discoverability and figuring out your ways around the algorithm to like tie yourself to other stuff to get yourself in front of more eyes.
So what would you recommend bands do?
Oh my God. That's a lot of bands. I would recommend, it's basically like YouTube, and that is like the bar scene of the 90s. All those bands that got signed started out playing covers. Look at how many people are playing covers on YouTube. You play a cover of a popular song, people click through your link, they find you. So that's one definite way of, raising awareness of you as an artist, because while you're playing someone else's song on YouTube, you might not be able to monetize it or whatever, but people can see that you're a talented person and they can decide whether or not they want to watch you perform something else.
Right. That's good advice right there.
So is it? I hope so.
I think so.
I hope it works, guys. I hope it works.
I mean, that's, take what's already popular and kind of put your own spin on it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely, that happens in original music too.
Yeah. Yeah. Cold is actually performing a song called Run by Snow Patrol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
A few times. Yeah. It's actually pretty neat.
That's good. And it's crazy that Cold is Nick from Lifers and Cold, Tony, the drummer from Lifer, who used to be the DJ way back in the day. He's playing with Cold. And then is Johnny still playing with them?
I don't know. I don't think so. But I mean, he was Johnny Nova.
Because Johnny Nova was playing with them.
Yep.
And he was Drama Club.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And Nick's bands. I mean, Nick was another one too that I was so happy to see him kind of get tied in with Cold, because like you said, he had Lifer, and I mean, I'm probably going to miss some bands that he's been in, but Lifer, the Drama Club, shit, I don't even remember now. I can't think of them. There were so many, and every band that he was in, or even his solo material, was all just solid work.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what they changed the name of Lifer to.
My Downfall?
My Downfall, that was it.
Yes.
Yeah, My Downfall. That EP was great too. Yeah. So there's just a lot of really good stuff.
There was a band that he started in 2016. Johnny was in that one too. It may have been my favorite band that he's been a part of. Oh man.
Oh, Stardog Champion.
No,
that was with Aaron. That was with Aaron.
Also good. Yes. Stardog Champion. Oh man, this is going to drive me crazy. I don't even know how to find it quickly without having dead air here, but oh crap. Come on, John. You should be able to figure this out. I don't know.
I remember, but I do remember the band, and I remember it was, he's got a, he's got a certain level that things need to be at, and they always are.
Yeah. So when he got, called up, so to speak, for Cold, I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And another great, definitely. A band, popular in the early 2000s, still rocking and rolling.
Yeah. I was glad to see them back. It was cool to have, Scooter be a part of that song on Aurora too, have him be a part of Far Away. It was great to see him for the video shoot and all that stuff. It was cool.
It's so wild to see. Like, I mean, I knew of Cold. I was a fan. And it's just so neat to be able to like meet people like you and meet people like Nick, and then like them have a tie to him. Cause like he was like this bigger than life, like person. Like, I mean, yeah. I was 20 years old or maybe younger than that. I forget, but it's like, I don't know. I've been so fortunate in my career where I've been able to, meet people like you and Nick, who have close ties to people that I was like, you never think of ever meeting. And I haven't met Scooter, but I know people who are, in their band. So it's neat.
Yeah, absolutely. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, so Breaking Benjamin, you were on a tour. What was that first show back like? I mean, was that like equivalent to when Breaking Ben came back, or was it even better than that?
Dude, it was a really emotional thing for me. Because it was kind of rough going into tour. Because right before we left, I dealt with the passing of my mom. So, I'm sorry, and my musical career wouldn't be a thing if it wasn't for her. I remember, when she gave me the money to go buy my first bass, we couldn't really afford for her to give me that money, but she did, and she made me make a deal with her that I would stop arguing about going to school, and I would just go to school if she bought me the bass. So I was like, yeah, no problem. It ended up getting worse. Because once I got the thing, that was it. Like I knew, like something immediately clicked. I was like, this is it. This is what I do now. This is my all encompassing purpose. And I just played that goddamn thing every day. And so thanks, Mom. Thank you for that. I'm sorry that I definitely didn't hold up my end of the bargain.
I think she forgives you. I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Yeah,
I'm sure. It's okay.
Yeah, you're all right.
So I had that. I had those emotions with me when we went out, and then our first show was at Blue Ridge Rock Fest. We should say that was awesome. There were about 40,000 people there, and we were the headliners of the first day. So we came back to this huge show with this massive crowd and just this massive PA system. Everything the whole situation was just larger than life. And we walked out on stage and we changed up the way we started our show. And we started with Dark, which is the first song on Dark Before Dawn. It's just like a little musical intro piece at the beginning that has some spoken word stuff over it. And we started playing that and we walked out, and it was like all of a sudden it's like just these emotions start hitting, and then we walk out on the stage and start playing the show, and just like the lights come up and the crowd just goes crazy. And I'm like, am I going to cry right now? Am I crying right now? And there were a couple times I got hit with like just that feeling, like I was just going to just break down in tears right there on the stage, because it had been so long. Not just us, every single person in the music industry and every fan of music had that taken away from them for so long. And there was so much uncertainty that maybe it would never be like that again. So it was, it was like, it was overwhelming. It was overwhelming. And going back into it was just, the appreciation that the people in the crowd had for being there, the appreciation that we had for them being there, and just being able to interact with each other in that familiar way again was a lot to process.
Yeah, I imagine that was probably the longest you've gone without really performing.
Ever, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, ever. Since the first time I ever played a show, that's the longest that I've ever gone without performing in front of people. I think it was 558 days or something like that.
Who's counting?
Nobody.
Did you cry?
I didn't. I was able to keep my shit together. I was like, you cannot cry in front of all these people. You cannot do that. So, then it's like and then like on the sides of the stage, there's people from other bands that are, that I have a huge respect for, and they're all amazing people. And you look over and they're just standing there on the side of the stage, rocking out too. And it's like, oh my God, this is so great. It's like, oh my, that's right. This is our life.
Yeah.
It's like,
and it goes back to like, you don't know what you have till it's gone. I mean,
yeah.
And that's I think that really kind of resonated a lot with everyone in the world through the last year and a half. You really took for granted. That's the wrong.
I tried to see. Well, no, I get what you mean. I'm in a unique situation because because this stage of it came so late in my life. I made a promise to myself that I would always, respect the fact that all of this could be gone at any minute. The thing is, you never anticipate that actually happening.
Sure.
And then it did.
Yeah.
So through no fault of anyone's, there's bands that, there's bands that are hugely successful and then fall off the face of the earth for like their own reasons or whatever, like their own internal stuff happens or whatever, and then bands disappear. But the whole industry was just gone.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was absolutely crushing and heartbreaking. And I'm so glad that we were able to make it through it and do that tour that we did, because it was definitely long overdue and much needed for all involved.
And I think you added like a kind of a show to that little run.
Dude.
Louder Than Life, right?
Dude.
phone
call. That was one of those things. That was one of those ones where it was like, I was, and again, talking to my wife, she's like, well, I don't know. I think your mom might be looking over you a little bit. Like, because we were getting ready to go home. It was like a couple days before we were going to come home from tour. And then we got a call that was like, hey, what do you guys think about extending the tour a couple days? You guys would have 3 days off in Kentucky, and then you guys will play on Sunday, and you're going to go on right before Metallica. And we're like, what? Right before who?
Say that again.
Like Metallica? Like that one?
Metallica?
The Metallica? I was like, and when you're starting out as a musician, or when you're starting out in anything, you have these crazy lofty goals that are in your head. And, you start with like smaller ones and then go to like what the end game is and be like, yeah, one day I'm going to play a show with Metallica. And then that realization that, whoa, wait a minute, that day is Sunday. That's and then getting closer to it, it's like that day is today. So we were, Chad Gray from Mudvayne was supposed to be playing in that slot. Chad Gray had contracted COVID and they had to cancel. And we were just like, absolutely, we will step in and take, and we were honored to be asked. And it was just incredible. It was incredible going out there in front of all those people again. And so we bookended the tour with these massive crowds of like festival shows where we got to see all these, we got to see a bunch of our friends again that we hadn't seen in forever. Cause we were on some pretty great days. Like, we did an interview with my dear friend and business partner, Josh Balls, that day. We did the Space Zebra show live at Louder Than Life. And, I'm standing outside and I was right before we started the interview. It's like I was talking to Mark Tremonti and Jose Mangan, Jose's Sirius XM DJ. And then Mark Tremonti is Mark Tremonti. For those of you that don't know, there used to be a band called Creed. They've sold.
Did he talk about that at all?
They've sold 20 jabillion records. And then he started a band called Alter Bridge, which is also a great band. Alter Bridge is turns out Alter Bridge is Creed with Miles Kennedy.
Right. I think
sorry, I had to mute for a second there.
That's
My
okay.
son's kind of getting loud. I apologize.
Getting rowdy. Oh,
he's getting rowdy over there. He's got a lot going. He's got a lot happening. So, but yeah, and then he's got his Mark's also got Tremonti, which is an awesome like metal project that he's got because he's apparently just not busy enough.
Right.
So yeah, so it was cool to get to see people like that. It was crazy. And then we went on, we did our show, and it was the crowd response was unbelievable. They were all singing along to every song. There were people as far as the eye could see again, which was,
I saw pictures. Nuts. I was like, wow, this is incredible.
Absolutely nuts. And then after we got done, we got kind of walked out to front of house, and I got to watch Metallica play the entire Black Album from back to front. So they played it in reverse order. Yeah. I think they started with Hardwired to Self-Destruct, And then they did Sanitarium, and I can't remember what the other song they did was before they went into the Black album. But they had like awesome video production, and it was Metallica. They sounded great, with the exception of one guy. Everybody knows who that one guy is. He doesn't sound so great.
Won't mention any names. There's 3 people listening to this podcast. Don't embarrass.
Yeah, hey, you know what? It's fine. Yeah, he's not embarrassed. He knows. He knows.
But no, was it Metallica? Was that a band that you, when you were younger, like you really like said one day I'm going to play for that band?
My goal when I got my first bass, my goal for my first year of playing was I wanted to be able to play Anesthesia, Cliff Burton's bass solo from Kill 'Em All, by the time I had been playing for a year. That was like my driving goal. So yeah, set goals for yourself, people, and work every day to get towards those goals.
Did you achieve it?
I did.
Nice.
I did. Yeah. Once I started playing, it was weird. It was weird because it was, it didn't feel like effort to me. Practicing didn't feel like effort. One thing I learned through teaching is that a lot of people don't like to practice. And they see it as difficult. Whereas I loved to practice. It was all I wanted to do. I just wanted to play. That's all I wanted to do. So it was like 5 to 8 hours a day. And so yeah, I advanced at the beginning at a more accelerated rate than other people would have, just because of the sheer amount of time that I put into it.
That's how you get there.
Yeah.
As far as the songs you guys played during your tour, I feel like from videos that I've seen, you kind of dug deep into the catalog. Is that accurate?
Yeah. We got together and rehearsed for 3 days before Blue Ridge, and we played a lot of songs. We didn't have a set list going in, and we didn't discuss what songs we were going to play when we started the tour. We were just like, so I did that practice thing that I do. I sat in this chair right where I'm at, playing that bass right behind me. And then there's another one over there. I played those. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to go over every Breaking Benjamin song. And I started at Saturate and worked my way forward. There were a couple I didn't play. And for anyone who wants to know, the most difficult Breaking Benjamin song to play is Blood off of Ember. That song is a pain in the ass. Like, it is just so hard. Like, the riff sounds cool. It is hard to play. That song is hard. Hard to play right, I should say. That's a very important little caveat right there. It's hard to play right. And then so we went in, and everybody was so excited to play again that the first day we really just jammed most of the songs that we've ever played, and then a bunch that we've never played before. And we're like, oh, it'd be cool to do this. It'd be cool to do that. And it gave us the, going forward, and we changed the set list up a few times over the course of the tour as well. Cause we're like, well, we're restricted. We're restricted by the amount of time that we have to play a show. And then the other restriction is the songs that people expect to hear. Like, people are going to come out and they're going to want to hear, like, they want to hear Breath. They want to hear So Cold. They want to hear Diary of Jane. They want, like, the singles. They want to hear those songs.
The hits.
So we have to, play those songs. And it sounds pretentious. Remember how you were like, this sounds pretentious? Be like, naming it the Popko Project this sounds pretentious. But I will say that we are fortunate, and through the blessing of our fans, we have a pretty large catalog of singles that were successful.
Sure.
So that's a lot of time in a set. And we're like, okay, so we got to kind of pick and choose where we can play other stuff that, is fun for us, that we like, and that fans of the band who aren't just there to hear the singles are going to be like, hell yes, that's awesome. I can't believe they played that. So like, yeah, Keith was doing Break My Fall on this tour, which was, that song's super cool.
So yeah, you stole that from me because I was watching some videos of this because I forget who posted it, a bunch of videos. I forget the person on YouTube, but I'm sure if you search Breaking Ben, you'll find some of his
If you
stuff,
search, if his name's Matt, and on YouTube you can find him under Yup Sure.
Yep, dude. So okay, all right. So yup, sure. I apologize. So I wrote some notes down. I try to be a professional host. So I wanted to take some notes. And so I wrote down this note that said yup, sure on YouTube. So I'm reviewing my notes tonight before we're doing this, and I'm like, what the hell was I writing when I put yup, sure on YouTube? So the problem is it wasn't so much that I forgot about him as much as it is I tend to mumble. So I thought, was I doing a voice note that this kind of morphed into? I'm like, man, I'm an idiot. I need to learn how to speak. So again, yup, sure, Matt, I apologize, but now you're getting a little bit of a
there you go.
Now
he's getting a plug. It was funny because he's done a bunch of videos, and I'm going to kind of plug his YouTube channel, which is I don't know, I guess, but he's been doing concert videos for a long time. And when we first started back out, we'd play anywhere regionally. We'd be looking for videos from Yup Sure, and we'd be like, well, we got to figure out who this guy is. And like, we couldn't figure out who he was because it was just that name. And then it so happened that me, Ben, and Sean did that little show at Hops and Barley's that one day. Do you remember that, when me, Ben, and Sean went and played at Hops and Barley's and just sat on the little teeny tiny stage where I used to play every Tuesday for like 4 years?
And I would drunkenly shout, "Wish you were here" by Incubus.
Yes,
sorry.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Absolutely.
That's an important part of my history.
They were, so Yup Sure was there, and Yup Sure posted some videos of that. And then somebody sent me a picture that was an angle that was behind me. And from that picture, I was able to see a guy holding a camera, and like I reverse engineered that picture and looked at the angle that the videos were shot at that were on YouTube, and I was like,
that's the guy.
That's Yup Sure. That's Yup Sure right there. And he ended up coming to one of the CD signings, probably the Ember CD signing, probably. Or no, maybe it was just Dark Before. I don't remember. That kind of stuff blurs together real quick. But it was a signing at Joe Nardone's Gallery of Sound for sure. And I was like, I remember he walked through, and Kara kind of relied on him to be able to watch some of the shows, because she's obviously, she stays home. She still works full time, so that we have, she does the health insurance thing and all that. And, she's home with the little guy. So so she'll watch videos on YouTube to keep track of like how the shows are going and stuff. And, she's like, this Yup Sure guy has the best recordings of these shows. And I was like, well,
he does. And thank you, Yup Sure, because like that's how I see you guys performing, from states that I can't visit,
Yeah. So I went to, so I told Kara when I saw him, I was like, that's the guy in the picture. And Kara was at the signing, and I was like, and by the way, that right there, that's Yup Sure, if you want to go say hi. So,
so there's two things I've seen, from his videos. One, Keith doing Break My Fall, which again, I mean, incredible.
He's so good. By the way, please listen to Keith Wallen's solo album. Holy shit, it's good. I recorded bass on it, and I'm not biased by that. It's a really, really good album. It's completely different from Breaking Benjamin, but it is 100% Keith Wallen, and it's so cool.
That's awesome. So I saw Keith singing. And then I've also seen a lot of people, mixed reviews, like, Ben's not doing all the vocals. Something's wrong with Ben. Ben's sick, or blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. I don't know the story. You don't have to tell me.
Why can't it just be that Ben brought in some people into the band whose talent he appreciates, and he wants to share that talent? Why can't it just be that?
That's the story. That's the answer. There you go. We have talented singers and songwriters and musicians. That's the story. So
yeah, that's really it.
Well, yeah, I mean, why not? And why not give him a break? It's a long set.
And it's definitely an upside for sure.
Give his voice a 3 minutes to recoup and get back into the next song. When's the last time any of these Joe Blows sang for 60 minutes?
Yeah, it's not an easy thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, again, shout out to Yupshirt for his video work and bringing the videos to YouTube so we can all see it. But yeah, so it was great. Yeah. It was great seeing Keith. I don't think, and maybe he has in the past, but I think it's just been more showcased now, maybe. But yeah, dipping further into the catalog, having you guys sing more. We've always been a talented vocalist, so I was no surprise there. But I think Keith is surprising some people.
It was it's fun, and then the videos that he posted from montage of this one, it was cool because we had Mark Klepaski come up and play bass for the song that I sang, which was cool. God
damn it, you're stealing all my notes. I'm the king of transitions here. I'm trying to be a good. You're trying
to lead the conversation there.
I'm trying to guide yours. That's fine. Maybe you should be doing this. I'll sit back.
I'm upstaging you.
I'll tell my stories of weekender days and working in radio and whatever. But no, so you play the show. It's at Montage Mountain. I think it was like September 18th. And I mean, you play the song "Home."
Yep.
Which is obviously killer. But yeah, and what was it like being back home?
So different. So we kind of operated in a little bit of a bubble. So like I didn't have my family. That was the first home Breaking Benjamin show that my family wasn't at. So that was different. Just out of a
safety,
just out of abundance of precaution, and it's also school happening and stuff like that. So people got busy lives. They ain't got time to come watch dad jump around and do whatever it is he's doing.
Come on.
They got important shit going on.
Come on.
So, but no, yeah. So, but we were since that one show at Montage, I'm always worried when we come to Montage now, since that one show where it like rained and they shut the show down and all those people were stuck on the mountain and there was a baseball game and it was a mess and like everybody was miserable. Every time we play there, I'm like, no one's ever going to come see us at this place again. Not ever. I don't care who it is. I wouldn't go see the Beatles play there because it's such a nightmare to get in and out of there. And then just, the way that they were treated, the way security handled it when they were like telling people that the show was canceled and then the show wasn't canceled. And it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. And I was so pleasantly surprised and so thankful that when we got there and we went out and played, the crowd was, it was amazing. It was definitely it was a memorable experience. It was just an electric moment where they were all screaming along to every word. And with Home, it's one of the places where you can play some of those other songs and there's a lot more people that get it because the music is just more personal to the people who are standing there singing along because, we're very much theirs. We're their band. And for anyone listening to this who's outside of Northeastern PA, I will tell you something is that us people are pretty territorial about what's ours. And
that's for sure.
And
pizza,
yeah,
all of it.
And we have some passionate fans in this area. Because and those fans need to know that we all understand that without them, Breaking Benjamin is nothing. It's a band playing at the Voodoo Lounge for nobody.
Which was the case at one point. But because of the people here, it built and built and built and built, and it's nuts. The one thing I'm glad you mentioned was that show that you just mentioned 2-3 years ago. I didn't want to bring it up because people were pissed.
Dude, absolutely. Well, I was pissed.
Yeah. I mean, so I went to, I haven't been to Montage to see a show for pleasure, at least, in a long time. And I had tickets to go see Stained and Korn August.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Well, no, the original date.
Oh, the one that got canceled. Okay.
Yeah, so we leave early. I'm like, I got a cooler in the car. My buddies are behind me. We're gonna get there early. It's a Saturday afternoon. Get there early. Do some tailgating. Nothing crazy because we're old now, but like let's have some drinks prior. Let's hang out, whatever. So I get off the exit off of 81 to start my climb the mountain, and immediately hit traffic. Now it's early and I'm stuck in traffic. It took me 50 minutes to get from the exit, and people listening to this who don't know this area won't get this, but it took me 50 minutes to get from the exit to the top of the mountain. And I sat in traffic and I'm like, this is why I stopped coming to shows.
Yeah.
It's just
the infrastructure for that particular place. It's like 1-2 lane road in and out.
Yeah.
It's like,
there was a minute
mess.
where I had the tickets on my phone and I was like, you know what? Because I drove separately because I was going to stay I wanted to see Stained really bad. And then I was going to stay for like a song or two of Korn and then head back home, try and catch my kid before I went to sleep.
Yeah.
And, be the dad and whatever. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just send these tickets to my friends in the car behind me and I'll just turn around. But it was like the road was so narrow. I'm like, I don't even know if I can turn around here.
You don't even think I can, yeah.
Because it's, like you said, it's one road in and one road out.
Yep.
But I mean, it's tough to have a show of that size at that kind of venue. Ski lodge, great. Montage, like water park, great. But when you try and put that many people in one place,
when you're trying to put
road,
like 20,000 people in a spot, it's a lot.
It's tough. And it's not I know a lot of people who work at Montage Mountain. I know the owner of Montage Mountain. Please don't take this as a knock on you. It was logistically built like that before you even had ownership.
Yeah, he wasn't the designer of Montage Mountain.
Yeah,
it's not on them.
I believe that was God.
Yeah,
if you believe in,
depending on who you ask.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I was just in track. I'm like, this is why I stopped. But I'm glad because like I remember seeing. I mean, it's the internet and people get hot at the moment. They're like, F this place, I'm never coming back. And then they were shitting on you guys, and I'm like, this has nothing to do with the band.
Of course, yeah,
nothing to do with the band.
And I get it. People are emotional. People are passionate, and that's the thing. Is that the thing that I always try to appreciate? I don't know that every musician does, but the thing that I always try to appreciate is that every single night that we play is a big deal to each individual person that's there. As a parent myself, I know that a lot of our fans. Our parents, they had to find babysitters. They had to find this. They had to find that. They had to sacrifice something else that they wanted to do in their life to be able to afford to come to the show in the first place. And it's a big thing. Like it's one of the biggest nights of the year for them. Like they've been looking forward to this for months. They're ready to make memories that they're going to have with them for the rest of their lives. Good or bad. And that was a situation where the memories that they made for the rest of their lives were bad, and it's horrible. And I hate that happened to them and that it happened for them. It was, and just the feeling of helplessness as, being from this area and being connected to this area, the feeling of helplessness that I had as my cell phone just exploded that entire day with people asking me what's going on, what's happening, what happened. Nothing more was on that show. Nothing more never even got to play. They got completely canceled off the show. I don't remember if Bad Wolves got to play or not. I think they might have gotten canceled off of that show too. But it was a mess. It was a disaster.
Yeah.
And it was, and it was embarrassing. And that's why I said every time we come back, it's like, I don't blame people if they don't come here. Like, I'm not going to take it as a personal attack on on me. Like, I'm not going to blame them if they choose to not go somewhere where they were treated that way. And it was unfortunate. It was unfortunate, but thankfully
you made up for it.
Thankfully, memories are, memories are of that kind of stuff are short, and tempers, as they cool down, people are a little more forgiving. And we had an amazing show. It was so much fun. The crowd was pumped and into it and screaming, and it was, I think it was what everybody needed.
And Papa Roach. I mean, I wanted to come to your show not only to see you guys, and I forget why I couldn't make it. I have an excuse for everything.
Oh, that's fine.
No, but I was like, oh, I can go see Breaking Benjamin and see Papa Roach, another band from the early 2000s that I grew up with.
And the sleeper on that tour was Memphis Mayfire. Don't sleep on Memphis Mayfire. They're so good.
Yeah.
So good. But yeah, Papa Roach. I mean, we all played Papa Roach covers back in the day. We all, every one of us played Last Resort at some point, right? It was, and then, dude, just so just their energy. They still are phenomenal songwriters and performers. They're one of those bands that if you've never seen them live and you don't really love Papa Roach, you should just go see them anyway, because their live show is so good.
Damn it.
They're such a compelling live performing band. And Jacoby is one of, if not the best frontman of that generation of music.
Well, you could have told me they stunk. And
you did. Yeah, you didn't miss anything.
I would have felt better not.
Yeah, you didn't miss anything.
Oh man, crap! I'll never forget. I mean, I don't know if I should say this out loud, but I will. I'll say there was a club in Wilkes-Barre, and I walked in, and a Papa Roach song was playing, and I can't remember the name of the song, but there was a dancer dancing to the song, and I just associate that band,
I gotcha,
so to speak, with that moment. I mean, there's more than that, but there's definitely oh, okay, this is kind of cool. Yeah,
it was the library, right? It was just somebody. They were at the library. They're just kind of.
It was the book club. It was the book club, and there was a dance recital at the library.
Yeah, it was a dance recital at the library. Yep, that's exactly what it was.
I forget what song it was. Oh, no, I have to find out. Because that's going to kill me. It was a great song. I could sing it in my head. Man. Oh, I'm looking through Help from 4 years ago. That was a great song. Man, what was the song called? This is going to kill me.
We're going to have a special guest for 1 second real quick here.
Are we? Ooh,
yeah, there's a little A. He just snuck on by. He's got to go up to bed.
Oh, good night. Good night. Sorry for occupying your father for the last
you're fine.
hour so far.
It's fine.
But
I talk a lot.
Oh, that's
why whenever you text me, you're like, "Hey man, you want to do the show?" And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. I just want to talk to you." So it's we might as well record our conversation and put it out there.
Yes. My goal is to share your stories with people who care. Hopefully I'm creating a platform or a channel. I'll call it a channel again, that people, like and appreciate. And I've been very blessed. I'm very fortunate that I know guys like you and John Phillips, and we'll talk about this real quick too. And with Josh Balls, and I'll never forget the first time I met Ben. He won't remember this, but we were at the River Street Jazz Cafe in Pittston, Pennsylvania. And this was 2004. So it was, and this is before, I think, their second album came out.
At the little acoustic show at the Jazz Cafe?
It was one of those nights. It was a Tuesday night or a Monday night. But
okay. So
he was, and I was with somebody he was still he was a big figure, but he's very tall too. But I don't know. He was there. He was cool. He was talking to people, and he was telling us a story. And I hope this is accurate, and I wasn't just drunk and making this shit up.
Oh boy.
but I think I was
Ready.
sober at this point. Okay, so he pulls up in this Pontiac like Grand Am or something. I think it was Grand Am.
Yeah. The purple one.
Purple. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not making this up. So it's purple,
yeah, the purple
right?
one, yeah.
And he's telling everybody how like, oh, the sales guy told him it was black. And I guess he was buying it like at dusk. And he thought it was black or like
the story is
colorblind.
The story is 100% true.
Oh, this is awesome.
The story is 100% true. It was Ben and Maddie Giordano that went to go look at the car.
No shit, Maddie was there too.
Yeah, we'll give you some more backstory on it. The salesman was our dear friend Murad Elbada. He works at Ken Pollock Ford now. He's the general manager of Ken Pollock Ford.
Nice.
But yeah, he went up and he went to see the car, and the car was purple, and it was dark out, so he thought it was black. And it was not black; it was purple.
Yeah.
So then he went back and went back to pick it up. And it's like, oh my god, this car is purple. It's like, and Rod's like, yeah, it's purple. It's been purple. Like, it's just...
I was so happy. Like one thing in life I have is a good memory. All my friends will tell you that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's so good that I'm like, is my memory like not real? Like the memories I have, did I make them up in my head? Are they based off of like pictures I saw or something like that? But I remember that moment very vividly.
Yeah, that's a true story.
Well, thank you for confirming that. I appreciate that.
Of Ben not realizing that the car that he was buying was purple.
Yeah,
and he was like, so mad. Yeah, he was so mad.
He was.
He was really mad that car was purple.
I'd be mad too. I'm like, this is Breaking Bad. And I'm like, this is like a year or two after like the Saturate was released, and he's pulling up in this purple Pontiac Grand Am. I think it was Grand Am.
Yeah.
And he's telling the story. I'm like, this is hilarious. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So
that was
funny.
Something else.
That was so funny. But we mentioned, we mentioned Matt Giordano. We mentioned Josh Balls. There's you. There's another gentleman by the name of Chris Jones. You guys, as if you're not busy enough and as if there's not a pandemic going on, you guys, 4 or 5 of you, decided to start a root beer company.
Yeah, my fine hat that says root beer is sick on it.
I think Josh was wearing the same one 2 nights ago. So
he probably was. But John called me the one day and was like, hey, hear me out. And I was like, all right. He's like, I want to start a root beer company. It's like, okay. He's like, it's going to be me, you, and Josh Balls. We're going to have dinner next week and we're going to talk about it. I was like, oh, all right. I'll at least go to this meeting and hear where this goes, So we went and sat down and had dinner and, talked about a whole bunch of different ideas and, and in hindsight, none of us had any idea what we were getting ourselves into. We had no clue. We were getting ourselves into. And then after that, we were like, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to move forward. We're going to figure it out. We're going to develop a brand. So we're going to take absolutely nothing and turn it into like what you can walk into a store today and buy. And it was an insane year of just, so I guess like 8-9 months ago, this was. I made the joke with Josh the other night, and I said, this kind of all started because I called John a nitwit. And I said, this nitwit was doing root beer reviews. Yeah.
Like Facebook Live root beer reviews. And Josh chimed in and he's like, yeah, that no one watched.
Yeah. Yeah. That was it.
I use the term nitwit with love. I'm only kidding. I love John. And, so it started with like these root beer reviews that he was doing because, we were all locked in and he was getting root beer delivered to his house. And now it's like this real life thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
People are going nuts over.
John loves root beer. Who doesn't love root beer? Everybody loves root beer. It's delicious. but yeah, John was doing those root beer reviews, and I swear to God, he started the company. He's like playing the long game to save money. Like he's spending a lot of money. You know, we're starting the company, building the company, he's spending a lot of money up front, so that like in the long run, root beer is just cheaper for him, because some of those root beers that he was ordering were, you know, they're way more expensive than ours, and it was and ours is better. I'm just saying. Ours is better. Ours is branded better. It's
non-biased here.
Non-biased at all. It's but yeah, we in all seriousness, we wanted to do something else. And the whole driving force behind it was that, you know, everybody knows that root beer is good and nobody's ever tried to make it cool. And that was the thing where it's like, how come people don't drink more root beer?
Right.
Like, why? It's like this niche thing that's kind of pushed off to the side. And like, if you look at the branding behind a lot of this stuff, and it's all really bland and really plain and like really understated. And we were very much like, no, root beer's badass, and we're going to make it badass, and we're going to put attitude on it. And that's what we're going to do. And so far the reception to it has been way more than any of us ever anticipated coming out of the gate. You know, we expected to have to, you know, do the slow grind build thing. And we're in a spot right now where we're like, okay, there's 4 of us here. And then, you know, if you count Matty Giordano in there and his amazing company Posture Interactive, there's 5 of us here steering this ship. Like, and everybody else is super busy, has 9,000 other things going on. So just trying to push this cart down the road, it's like, it was crazy. It's still crazy. You know, I have some root beer and some birch beer at the house. And every time I look at the bottle, I just think about all the time that went in and all the meetings and all the, you know, all the opinions. And it's just so wild. You never know how things you can load any project up with all your best intentions, but until it's out there, you don't know how people are going to perceive it, how they're going to react to it, how they're going to attach to it. And so far, the response has been overwhelmingly positive, and I couldn't be happier.
It's a good product. I've had butterscotch. I've had root beer. I've yet to try the birch beer. Excellent product.
Thank you, sir.
I mean, and you have a good team. I mean, John, as abrasive as he can be, as honest as he can be.
No,
he's a good businessman. And Chris Jones, obviously, he has a resume, speaks for itself. He's got a lot of successful companies. He's like a serial entrepreneur. Again, resume speaks for itself.
A lot going on, yeah.
Josh Balls, I don't know when he sleeps. He's running 5-6 companies, and obviously he knows what he's doing. And then there's you, who's no stranger to the hustle and the grind, and you know, being on tour with, you know, Breaking Benjamin, and seeing the ins and outs of that atmosphere and things like that. I'm not surprised at the success. I'm going to ask you a question. I meant to ask Josh the other night. I asked John when I spoke to him on.
I'll answer on Josh's behalf.
I forget what episode it was. If you search the Popko Project on Spotify, you can check out my interview with John Phillips. The question I have, so originally I feel like the attempt was we want to use this product as, you know, bring families together, bring, you know, kind of work off nostalgia and things like that. And the question I was like, I'm like, okay, that's cool, right? You know, because I think even John was like, you know, you think about root beer, you think about, you know, your grandfather and root beer Sundays or root beer floats rather, and all those things, right? And I said to him, like, that's cool, but like your branding kind of says different to me, in my opinion. Your branding, you know, it's kind of half naked, tattoo woman.
There's a guy too.
There's one guy, correct?
There's actually 2 guys.
Okay, there's 2 guys,
but they're not on the. But they're not on the. He's not on the other box.
All right. And I asked him, like, and then the whole thing was like, drink more fucking root beer, and the word fucking is, as an asterisk.
Yeah, it's got the asterisk in it. Yeah.
But I'm like, to me, it was like a little bit of a mixed signal, and so in my mind too, especially now that like the product's launched, you kind of you launched it at a perfect time because you guys were on tour with Breaking Benjamin. They were at the Blue Rock. Or Blue Ridge.
Yeah, that worked. That really did work out. That was a complete happy accident.
Right.
That tour happened to just pop up out of nowhere during the launch window of the product.
But I feel like, that whole, we're going to go with the family angle and things like that. And we're going to kind of like really tailor it to who it speaks to. It's kind of like where it is right now. Is that accurate?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Definitely the packaging has attitude. When we decided, when we developed the brand, we wanted to, like, we specifically went into imagery that's like, tattoo shops, barber shops, kind of rockabilly sort of stuff. Like, if you're familiar with tattoos at all, it's like the Sailor Jerry kind of vibe to the stuff. Because it's something that's nostalgic, and it does also have like a widespread appeal. It's something that people can look at and identify with. As for the nostalgia behind it, everybody has a root beer story, right? Like Josh's is very similar to mine. It's the same root beer keg at Knoebels that I remember constantly. Like, it's that same thing. It's, with Birch beer, it's remembering coming to because I grew up in New Haven, Connecticut, coming to Pennsylvania and have it during the summers, and the Glen Summit soda truck driving up my grandmother's street and dropping off cases of soda, and me getting to pick out Birch beer and stuff like that. So those are the memories that I get that are just like, and we actually had, and me and Josh were on NEPA Live last week.
I saw that.
And we had a very similar experience happen with Chris on that show, where he, we had him try the butterscotch root beer, and he took a sip of it, and he, as soon as he took the bottle away from his mouth, he's like, this just gave me a memory of my father, because butterscotch was his favorite ice cream topping. I haven't thought about that in forever, but as soon as I drank this root beer, it tied my brain to that, which was, and it's crazy that soda can do that. It really is crazy that a soda can do that, but it can somehow, because I can drink our root beer and I will be, and I'll immediately just have like these different memories of different places where maybe it's because it's so like, it's not as popular as like a Coke or a Pepsi or whatever. So those times when you have root beer are more important.
Sure.
But yeah, but yeah, it's just, so the nostalgia, like the thing with like tying families together and all that stuff, it kind of does it itself. Once you try the product, it's like, wait a minute, like, oh yeah, I remember this. I remember that. I remember this. And it's weird. It's weird the way that works. But
maybe the taste and root beer in general kind of, has that connection, but the branding appeals to whatever. Which is smart.
The branding is, it's like I said, it definitely has, it definitely has an attitude to it. But I think that it's beautiful. I couldn't be happier with how it all turned out. Like, I look at this, I'm super proud of the way all of our packaging, all of our stuff came out.
Yeah. So I did watch the segment with Chris Bohinski on PA Live, and I thought it was hilarious. So people can order this online. I believe the website is called drinkparlor.com.
Drinkparlor.com.
And so you can actually create your mix and match 12-pack or whatever it might be, and you can get it shipped to your door. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, how is this product going to get shipped to my door in glass bottles and not break? Well, what's hilarious about it was you literally took the pack, the boxed product, you pushed it
our
off,
shipping box,
your shipping box, you pushed it off the counter, slammed onto the ground, and no broken bottles.
No, nothing. Yeah, we've had so the farthest that we've had some stuff go is like up in Sonoma, California. We've had some we always love when people who place orders, they share their stuff on Instagram, like they post pictures of the boxes, and we're always looking to see what kind of shape the stuff showed up in, because it is a concern. It's a concern. When we were figuring out how we were going to do shipping, because we always knew we wanted to ship, but it was figuring it out. And most of the companies out there that are selling root beer online that ship them to you, you get like a cardboard box that has a bunch of newspaper in it, and your bottles are like bubble wrapped together. And I was like, that's horrifying. That could absolutely break. So, us with the company that helped develop the brand and does all our marketing, Posture Interactive, we found this solution to get stuff there safely with this. So there's like this corrugated pulp insert that goes in there. So each and every bottle is kept stable and individual from each other, and there's like shock tabs on the tops and the bottoms, so that you can literally throw the box. When we were drop testing this box, because that was a fun day. R&D. Yeah, it's research. So the root beer wasn't even made yet. We were working on these problems before we even had root beer in a bottle. So we took a 12-pack of Yingling, put it in our box, put the stuff in there, taped it shut, and then we threw it around the office for like 15 minutes, and everything was fine. Like I'm not a short guy, so standing up from like shoulder height, I flipped the box in the air, it came down, landed on its top, and nothing broke. I was like, okay, I think we have a winner. So it's definitely not the most cost-effective solution for us to have, but it was more important to us, especially for people who are buying this product that are across the country. They can't walk into their local store and pick it up. Sure. So it's important to us that it make it there in one piece, and that we don't, and especially this early on, this is like their first experience that they're going to have with our product. Mm-hmm. So we want opening the whole box, seeing the way everything works. We include the little 4-pack inserts in there so that they can like set their stuff up into the 4-packs after they take it out. We want it to be a full experience when they open the product. So there's definitely no regrets on our shipping solution.
No, and I think about when I open an Apple product and the packaging behind an Apple product. Anyone who has an Apple product knows what I'm talking about. So I think
just the way that box slides open and it feels almost magnetic. It's so
exactly
so
and
good.
It's well structured. So it's really cool that you guys kind of thought ahead to that kind of experience too, because like you said, if that arrives on the person's doorstep, they're going to share that on social media, and that's going to spread like wildfire much quicker than a positive experience would. So
yeah,
kudos to you guys for thinking that far ahead. And
thank you.
Yeah, not that you need to hear it from me.
Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Maddie.
You were just in the Axelrad office 2 days ago.
Yep, we also have merch, which we print through Axelrad, by the way.
Yeah, and one of our guys was I think helping with the design. So
very nice, very nice.
Shout out to Axelrad.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
it is
absolutely. Shout out to Axelrad.
It is Axelrad screen printing and embroidery in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Now we're recording this.
By the way, if you go to a Breaking Benjamin concert and purchase a cloth item from a Breaking Benjamin concert, that is made in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania by Axelrad screen printing and embroidery.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Axelrad prints Breaking Benjamin's merch. So if you're a band and you want to print at the same shop that Breaking Benjamin does, call me, message me on Facebook, hit me up on Instagram, find me wherever.
Yeah, downside of that is if you're going to try to order right before Breaking Benjamin goes on tour, it's going to be a minute, because we kind of it's amazing how great Dave is when it comes to getting stuff turned around out of there. Because we weren't ready for how much merch we were going to sell this last run. And, we played our first show in New Hampshire, and we sold so much stuff that the guy who runs our merch company, Terry, who's the absolute best as well. Terry had to make some uncomfortable phone calls and be like, hey, so we need this, and we need it like tomorrow.
Yeah. But before our show in Scranton, I was on some of those emails. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And not that I was like, what are you guys thinking? It was like, this is cool. Like Breaking Benjamin, we're going to print their stuff and keep it local. And
yeah,
we're gonna make it happen.
That was a very important thing to us, was keeping it local.
Yeah. So we appreciate that. So thank you. But,
plus Axelrad does a great job.
We do. We try. We do our best. Every now and then things happen, but
yeah, me and Josh were actually talking to Dave the other day, and it was like, Breaking Benjamin does their merch at Axelrad. Strange and Unusual does their merch at Axelrad. Parlor Beverages does their merch at Axelrad. It's just where we go.
Cold does their merch at Axelrad.
That's awesome.
I hope I could say that out loud.
As they should.
I help assist Nick with that. It's all good, man. But so I want to let you go. You're very busy. I don't want to.
It's only been like an hour and a half. What are you talking?
Yeah, it has been an hour and a half.
It's fine.
It's October 7th. We're recording this.
If you're still watching this, by the way, God bless you.
Yeah.
Or listening, or whatever formats you're putting this up in.
It's on Spotify. It's on Apple.
Thank you so much for listening to us ramble back and forth to each other, and I hope that it was an entertaining experience for you.
I've got one last question for you before I let you go.
I'm ready.
It is October 7th. Like I said, I want to. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that for a purpose, because this may not be released until a week from now, or maybe even a week and a half from now.
Yeah, don't put me out before Josh, because then Josh will be whiny about it.
Yeah, I don't want to break his heart. So, where do you think Brian Laundrie is?
Oh my God! So I don't have any idea. I try to so here's what I've done. I've tried to completely insulate myself from as much internet conspiracy stuff as I can for all sides of everything. So I stopped using Facebook, and I don't have a TikTok, and I don't really go on any other social media unless I'm posting. So I'm not like super in the know of what that even is. But I know like the basics of it. But yeah, I have no idea where he is. So
the reason I asked the question is because I thought it was funny. There's reports today that internet sleuths think that he is hiding under his parents' house or under their like flower beds. And
he built some kind of like subterranean structure where he's down there. Some kind of thing.
And they are like giving him supplies, like they'll be out there gardening, and they'll be tending to their garden and their flower beds. And while they're doing it, they'll be like kind of passing him like some food or whatever.
Sometimes people give bad people too much credit. Like they just give bad people too much credit. Right? The guy's an idiot. Probably. I don't know how smart he is.
Allegedly.
I don't know him personally, but it's when stuff like this happens, these people don't have a plan. There's no plan. This isn't Lex Luthor, who's been building a secret like hideout in a mountain somewhere. He's not Dr. Evil, who has like a spaceship and and a submarine and all kinds of other nonsense.
Yeah.
This dude's running for his life somewhere. So, and hopefully people aren't wasting a lot of time looking for him under his parents' house or in his parents' garden. They're actually looking places where he might be.
Dude, the bounty hunter's looking for him.
Yeah, I know. Dog's out there. Dog's out there doing it.
He's out there barking.
He's on it.
He's out there barking.
He's on it. He's
sniffing it out. He's gonna find him.
It's like something. It's so bad. I don't even want to joke about it. Because
it is sad that someone.
Because it's like it's such like a serious, awful thing, and it's like but when you shine it through the lens of social media, It's just like it dehumanizes the whole situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
And it's like
anyone watching, listening, we're not making a joke out of the situation. It's very sad.
Yeah, no.
Someone is dead.
No, we're making a joke out of Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah,
which he does just fine with that
murdered.
with that hair.
We're not making a joke about that.
Yeah, no,
that's not funny.
But that's not at all. But it's like but yeah, Dog. I hope that he finds him. I hope that he finds him, and I hope that family can get the closure that they deserve. It's sad because in a situation like that, they're never going to get justice,
right?
Because justice is they get their loved one back. That's justice,
right.
And that's never going to happen, and that doesn't ever get to happen. So and just hopefully they can get something to move forward and make it and make life livable and bearable. And that guy definitely didn't have some kind of master plan where he's been what's it called, he hasn't been building a fucking Shawshank Redemption tunnel under his bedroom since he was 3 years old for the day that he decided he was going to do this.
20 years from now I'm gonna meet a girl.
Yeah. Ridiculous. That's crazy. The internet. That's the internet.
It is. And speaking of the internet, I'm going to hold you to something you said to me last time.
Oh, hell yeah.
If you ever meet Joe Rogan, if you ever get invited onto his podcast,
you are the first name that's getting dropped.
The name, and you got to call me. You just got to call me. And he's in some hot water too. I don't want to get into that because
he's how, it's, and it comes, what's happening with him right now is kind of my entire argument for not being on social media at all.
Sure.
Like like my entire argument for not even looking at Facebook is what's going on with Joe Rogan right now.
Yeah.
It's just a whole world of people who are like, it's the researchers. They call themselves researchers. They're like, you can tell where a conversation's going just when someone says, I do my own research. You can tell where it's like, no, you don't wear like a
lab coat.
A lab coat. You're not doing an independent study. You're reading something else that someone wrote or something that someone else wrote. That's not necessarily research.
Well, I said this about him when maybe a week or two ago, or maybe even when it happened, and I'll say it again to you. Obviously, I'm a huge Joe Rogan fan.
Of course.
I don't really love, companies or even the government trying to mandate anything on us. And I don't want to get too far into this.
Of course, that's understood. Yeah. It's a family show. We're riding the line.
Right. We don't want my 5 listeners to cut this up and put words in their mouths. But so a couple things. He needs to understand the power he has on his platform, because there are people who will hear what he says and blindly do whatever it is that he says and does, whatever. So there's that. And I think he needs to, as much as he doesn't want to acknowledge that, he needs to understand that there are people out there like that. I mean, I had friends.
Yeah, he has a responsibility.
He does.
He has a responsibility.
So, but in the same sense, I do not disagree with how he handles his health.
No, he does.
You're entitled to that. At the end of the day, I wish he didn't say what he did, because that's when the internet blows up and says Joe Rogan is misinformation, this and that, the other thing. And hey, listen, he has every right to treat himself how he wants. If he wants to take,
he can
whatever he can.
He can do whatever he wants. He can take whatever he wants. He can do whatever it is he chooses to do.
Yeah, right.
He's free to do that.
In the same vein, I feel like media is helping spread misinformation more than anything else, because when he took ivermectin, every headline was Joe Rogan takes horse dewormer ivermectin for COVID. Right. That was the headline. And even in the story, they didn't. They said that, they reiterated it, and it was like, this guy's an idiot. This is what he's doing. But they failed to mention, people take ivermectin. Humans do all the time.
They also left out every other thing that he took for COVID.
Exactly.
Like he was, the real cure, for those of you out there listening, the real cure for COVID is to be rich, so that they can so you can afford just every like experimental treatment where they did, they
IVs, everything.
They just give you whatever. And, it was,
and he said he consulted
and then it's gone. And then it's gone in 3 days.
I mean, let's talk about Magic Johnson.
Yeah. Hey, that's the cure is that he was rich.
Yep. His money. And we'll end it on that. Let's not get too far down the rabbit hole.
I'm not mad at rich people, by the way. I'm not mad.
No,
I'm not mad.
I mean, I'm not either. I mean,
yeah, I'm not allergic to money. I've rolled around in it a bunch of times. I don't get a rash or nothing. You know what I'm saying?
You have a pile of money over there I can come roll around in?
Yeah, sometimes.
I just want to feel it on my skin. I want to see it's an allergy test for me. I want to see if I'm allergic to money.
Yeah, I didn't say they were big bills. I just said it's money.
Well, whatever. Dude, thank you so much for everything.
Johnny, I love you, buddy.
Yeah, I love you too, man. I hope I could see you soon. I know I saw you at the show last friggin' June or July. I haven't seen you since, but I miss you, and I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad your family's doing well. I'm glad Breaking Benjamin's doing well. Yeah. I'm glad Parlor Beverages is doing well.
Yep. I have I have Parlor going on. So go to drinkparlor.com and purchase your root beer or your merchandise or whatever. You can get this sick hat. You can go to breakingbenjamin.com where you can buy things like this sick water bottle. Look at me, look at me just selling merch. And then I have I also, because I'm bored, and I play a lot of video games, I also have a stream on Twitch. So you can go.
That's another thing I'm glad you brought up, because I meant to bring it up and I'm not good at my job. So thank you. You're a big gamer.
Oh, no worries.
On Twitch.
No worries. So yeah, it's twitch.tv and then the little / and then it's DIKYMO. It's a video. It's Dickie Mo. No. If you ever come to a Breaking Benjamin show and you're around any of the other band members, there's not a single person that will call me Aaron. Every single one of them will say, "Hey, Dickie, come here." And it's based off of my video game like nickname. I'm a huge nerd. We'll talk about that another time.
Very cool. I hope so.
Yeah, I'm willing to. I'm ready and willing to come back whenever.
Well, I appreciate it. Hopefully, I'll see you in person before we have to have an online conversation.
Yeah, that would be great. All
right, man. Well, tell your wife and children I said hello. Stay safe.
Please
stay
do the
healthy.
same.
I will. And like I said, love you, man, and happy for you.
And congratulations on the Popko Project. It's not pretentious. It's awesome.
Thank you. All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, fuck Boston. Sorry.
Oh, no, hold on, real quick. Real quick. So I was with Josh. I meant to. That's why I wore the hat, and I was with Josh on Tuesday, and the Red Sox were playing the Yankees. I'm like, man,
I sat down. I saw you wearing the jersey and the hat. I'm like, this man right here. I'm not even going to mention it until the end. I was going
to come out of the gates swinging. I'm like, you know what? So I was with Josh on Tuesday, and I'm like, damn it! Like he said Tuesday works for him. He's going to I think California the next day. I pinned him down. I got to do it tonight. I'm like, God, I'm going to miss the start of the Yankees Red Sox game. Real stressed out about it. I'm like, it's win or go home. And guess what, Aaron? How'd that end?
Oh, it went exactly the way I knew it was going to go. The Yankees went home.
See,
they were a super streaky team this year. They weren't.
The Red Sox were no better.
It was not, but
the Red Sox were like kick ass the first half of the season. They were like in first place. They had the best record in MLB, and then like the All-Star game hit, and they were shit. They were a wild card.
Yeah,
which is why they played the wild card game.
Garrett Cole the last couple of weeks went from being like the number one Cy Young candidate to being, to now there's the entire offseason is going to be talking about whether he was wasted money or not.
Dude, I mean,
which based off of that performance, I mean, he was paid a lot of money to come in there and win that game.
Ace on the staff, highest paid pitcher on the team, and you're in inning 3 and you're saying I'm out, bro. Not a good look.
Yeah.
Not good optics.
Yeah, not a good look.
So,
not a good look.
But hey,
yeah,
Red Sox are playing now. Let's just check the score. I'm hoping let's check. Live check-in.
They're playing Tampa. Tampa's so goddamn good. The Yankees weren't beating Tampa.
Yeah, they're down 4-0. Shit. Yeah. All right. Well, I gotta go.
Yankees weren't beating Tampa. All right, I'll talk to you later. Enjoy that game.
Buddy. All right.
And
hope
it's hockey season now. It's hockey season now. Let's go Rangers.
You're like. All right. I'll let you go. We'll see you soon.
Okay, I love you, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Man. See ya.
All right. Bye.
Bye.